Anybody remember Garbage Pail Kids?
Yeah.
That sounds really. That sounds familiar, but I don't know what
They're
that
like
is.
trading cards, not unlike Lorcana. You buy a pack of 10 like baseball cards or whatever. But
Was Garbage Pail the one that did the play on the words like "Don't you dare eat those" for Doritos?
Yep.
Yeah. And they're little gross little people that they looked almost like got Cabbage Patch dolls. Yeah.
Yeah.
So they looked like that, and they'd be vomiting, and it was adorable.
They were going to be worth $1 million.
Hey everybody, and welcome to this week's episode of the DVC Show. I'm your host, Paul Krieger, joined as always by the lovely Amy Krieger.
Hello.
It's a good hair day today. Looking nice.
Not that.
No? Okay.
One side gets all curly.
I like the scrunchy
and
look.
then the other side doesn't.
I've told you that before. But how's your hair, Panda? Good? Looking good. Yeah.
Welcome home, everyone.
We've got Derek DeBoer, who I do feel like I could put together a compilation of you playing with your hair.
Greased lightning.
From all of the videos. You are very methodical about it, especially like right before we start filming. Yeah. And then Jeff has no hair.
He does.
He does.
That's why he wears a hat.
Yeah. No. Be like a little Garbage Pail Kid.
That's a nice hat, by the way, Jeff. Where'd you get that hat?
You guys want to see that up close? Yeah.
Yeah, look at that.
I'll buy one.
What the heck is DVC? That is DVC fan. Yeah. Yeah, well, welcome to the show, everybody. This is our third show in of the night, so we always get a little slap happy at this point in time. We're sleepy or hungry. Amy's already preheating the oven to throw pizza in. That's like our immediate post-show.
Red Baron.
Because
they were on.
Boy.
Oh yeah.
We don't even have it. I don't know that we have enough time for this story, but Amy's gonna tell it anyhow.
They brought back the best Red Baron. First of all, I like Red Baron frozen pizza because it's cheap and
not sponsored.
It just tastes like
good
junk food. And my favorite one was the Mexican pizza, and they had gotten rid of it a long time ago. And I had written on their Facebook and told them to bring it back. This was like 8 years ago. And they wrote, "Don't worry, Amy." And then it came back. Like they must have already been planning it. I don't think they brought it back because of me, but they said, "Don't worry." And then it came back like the next month, and they had it for several years, and then it disappeared again, like the last 3-4 years. And I just saw it on Kroger ClickList, and I ordered 4 boxes. And I went on Red Baron's Facebook, and I said, "Thank you for bringing it back." And they said, "Just for you."
Now I have to try it.
So you're welcome. It's my favorite. It's so good.
Can I just, I know we're trying to do a show here, but can I just share some anxiety that I have with y'all?
Yeah, we're already way off the rails. Let's go for it.
And I'm sorry. Jeff G, our friends of Jeff of Jeff and Dan, will understand this. But Panda, I have this Lego set that I built like 6 months ago that's sitting in a box behind you. Do I need to come build it for you? Because it's driving me.
I really do need help. It's unopened. I will bring it to you. We'll do it together.
We've both built it. It's behind Amy's head.
Oh yeah. How do I?
Yeah.
I just haven't gotten to. I do need to do it.
That? Yeah, everybody has that one. Jeff and Dan have the same one too.
Are meant to be built, not stored in their box.
All right,
that's all.
Next time we do the show, you'll see it there for real.
That's a promise. Better get working on it.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, if you have tuned in, this is Red Baron Hour.
I'm sorry.
With the world of DVC and Lego Talk. It's our new podcast here on the DVC fan channel. Now, we are talking about Disney Vacation Club, and back by popular demand, we're going head to head yet again and discussing which resort is the best, the BoardWalk or the Beach Club. And Derek and Jeff seem to be ready to throw down on this topic.
Oh, that's what Derek's shirt's about.
This is probably the most... We've done a lot of head-to-heads. We've done at least 3 other ones so far. And this is the one, though, that's like the OG. Like, this is the original head-to-head. Yeah. We did...
Oh, you and I wrote an article. We co-wrote an article back before I even was... Yeah, it was a writer for DVC Fan. I just wrote it and I had to give it to you, and you had to put everything under your name.
It was called the Beach Club Boardwalk Challenge or Showdown or something like that. And I wrote at the time. This was prior to us owning at the Boardwalk because we are Boardwalk owners. But we literally had this internal debate in our family where I was so pro Boardwalk and would have let Amy buy tomorrow at Boardwalk, and she was
I wanted
so
beach club points. Yeah. And I lost. How about that? No, I what happened was in the article was Paul being for Boardwalk and
was
me
like a debate,
being
basically.
yeah, it was kind of like a debate, and I went with the beach club route. And it was just, there was a lot of reasons, but anyway, we ended up getting a stay at both Boardwalk and Beach Club in the same trip. So we went and we stayed at Beach Club. Oh, it was during the hurricane, whatever hurricane that was in 2019.
There's a lot of names.
It was supposed to come straight for Disney World. We were there. We were only supposed to be at Disney for Labor Day weekend. So we just had 3 nights. It was like 1 night at Beach Club, 2 nights at Boardwalk. And we were like, we're gonna settle this debate right now. We're gonna stay at them both, and then we're gonna decide. And we ended up getting stuck, and our flights got canceled, and we had to book 3 more nights, and we ended up staying in Boardwalk a long time. So the DVC van picked us up from Boardwalk, and they sold us points like one day we were there.
We were very impatient, but we added on. So there you go.
Was that back when you toured the Boardwalk and they served Red Baron Mexican pizza?
They should have. Well, here's what I will tell you. One of the things that really sold me, and I'll probably
on pizza or on DVC? I just want to clarify for those listening.
This is food related. This is
Okay.
on the topic of cheap food, cheap good food. We'll probably never see this again. During the hurricane, they had cheap buffets in the Boardwalk convention center for the people staying on property. It was like $10 for a dinner buffet. You just went in, you gave them your $10, and then it was all kinds of. Do you remember that?
I do. My head's just spinning with the thought that this is what made us. In your mind, this was the selling factor.
It's all about
of
emotion.
why-
I was happy with my cheap good food. And
I mean, it was mediocre pasta at the best.
No, it was $10 at Disney. What can you get for $10 at Disney? A whole buffet of food, and then we went back the next day for the breakfast one, which was even cheaper. It was like $8.
If you're still listening to this show at this
Amy
point,
really likes a deal. She really does.
She does.
God
I'm
bless
really
her.
cheap.
If you're still listening
I
at
love
this
it.
point, we love you. Thank you for listening.
I'm sorry.
Go show some love for our sponsors over at the World of DVC. DVC Resale Market, where if you're looking to buy or sell a Boardwalk or Beach Club contract or any Disney Vacation Club contract, they can assist with that process. Monera Financial, who can help with financing that DVC resale contract purchase. And the DVC Rental Store, where you can try before you buy, rent some points at Boardwalk or Beach Club, or rent out your own points, because Boardwalk and Beach Club are very popular on the rental market, so that you can normally get some good money if you're looking to rent out some points that you're not going to use this year. So please show some love over for our sponsors. But I think the pizza talk is over. I think any other random talk is over, and we are getting down to business, which is the better of the Disney Vacation Club resorts, Boardwalk or Beach Club. What was that? What?
Bless you.
Boardwalk.
Oh, okay. So I hear a vote for Boardwalk. Panda, tell us.
I'm ready.
Tell us why you love Boardwalk.
Well, it's not that I don't love Beach Club, but I feel like everything I love about Beach Club I can get to from the Boardwalk, the restaurants, even the pool. I mean, 2 to 3 strong men get me over the fence if I really want to try the pool. But no, I do love their pool. But forgetting the pool, the restaurants I can visit, but the Boardwalk at night when the performers come out, that's pretty magical for some reason for me. I don't know why. I just like the magic guys out, and it's lively, and it's just a good feeling. And I don't get that at Beach Club. So I'm going with Boardwalk.
Good choice.
Ambiance, vibe.
Now, although that was a good choice, Jeff looks rather angry. So I feel like maybe Jeff's going to say something different, or he's just frozen with angry face. I'm not quite sure, actually.
Oh, there it is.
Resting Jeff's face.
Actually, that was my psych out. It's Boardwalk all the way. There's not even a competition. For me.
Oh, wow.
I'm one of the few people that really don't even like Beach Club that much. It's fine. I think dining is better at Boardwalk. Even though I ate at Trattoria, my heart and soul, I love that place. We ate there on Friday with my friends. It wasn't that good. I was disappointed. It was kind of a bummer.
Right.
But Trattoria on its worst day is still better than pretty much anything at Beach Club for me. I know people love Yachtsman Steakhouse. I've never really had a great experience there. Cape May Cafe smells like Red Lobster has been sitting there from 1982. They don't even have the Cheddar Bay biscuits, so Cape May does nothing for me at all. And I know people go crazy.
I don't have my glasses on, so I have no idea what this
It
is.
says I can smell
my
Cape
gosh.
May all the way
He
from here.
made that for this show.
My God, that's amazing.
I'm
But-
just impressed that he had the technology skills to make that. That's a lot for Derek. That's a lot.
He probably got some help from Owen.
It took 3 days. 3 days.
Yeah.
I know people love Stormalong Bay. I loathe that place. It is so crowded.
Wow.
It is. That lazy river will swallow your children. It's like 19 feet deep.
So I figured out what is up with the lazy river. I did some research.
I heard this. I know what you're going to say. Go
Snorkeling.
ahead.
Yeah, it was for snorkeling. And then they
What?
made it a lazy river. That's why it's so deep.
Yeah, I feel like they could have just filled it up a little bit with some
Yeah.
concrete, made it so it wasn't the bottomless lagoon. But even worse than that, to ride the water slides, you got to leave the park and walk through
Yeah.
Epcot and across the street and then up the stairs and then down. And not to mention, it's kind of balcony roulette with Beach Club. Sometimes you get a really nice balcony. Sometimes it's like that big.
Sometimes
So-
it's none.
And then sometimes it's none. So Boardwalk all the way, go Flying Fish, go Corn Dogs when they open, maybe next year.
I'm convinced they're just tearing that stand down now. They build it and then they're going to tear it down. It's just going to be a never-ending project or something. Amy, you own a Boardwalk now. Are you
I
fully
know.
converted?
I love Boardwalk. I really do. And back then when we stayed there and we stayed at both, I was like, okay, yeah, I can see us getting Boardwalk points. Let's do that. But I still have a place in my heart for Beach Club. So I definitely have to give some love to Beach Club. I love Stormalong Bay. I get what Jeff is saying about it. It is like a maze. And I've heard a lot of families of younger children say it's really hard to keep track of your kids there. It's definitely a maze. But anytime I see Beach Club pop up and we can grab a reservation there, it feels like I'm winning a prize. And maybe it just feels like that because it is so hard to get. The villas itself, it is kind of tucked away back in the back there, so it's not as prominent as Boardwalk. It doesn't have the views that Boardwalk has, and the balconies are kind of a weird situation. But I still love the Beach Club. I love that lobby. I don't think it smells that bad. They're not steaming crab legs anymore. So I don't really smell that. I smell like the aloe and clover smell that they pump out there. I think that's a really good smell. I love what is the architecture called? Is it like gingerbread or where you've got all those
have no idea.
beams and it has a name. Someone tell me what the fancy name is in the comments.
You were the realtor at one point.
It doesn't mean we didn't sell any places like that in West Virginia.
That's true.
I love the architecture in that lobby. And at Christmas time, they always put together the coolest gingerbread carousel. And every year it has a different theme. So, in the past it was different. The horses were different princesses. And then it was something weird. Was it DuckTales last year, maybe?
Oh, yeah. Something weird. Like,
But it's
was it
so
Goofy?
cool. Yeah, it's so cool to always just see that at Christmas time. I love the tile when you walk into the lobby. It's like this peachy, pinky color. I don't even like pink. I just think it's beautiful. I don't know. There's something about Beach Club that I love. That said, Boardwalk is my favorite. If they've got the best views. I know. Oh, and I have to say something. I do like Beaches and Cream. Someone was upset that we didn't mention it on the dining show. I like Beaches and Cream. but it's not something that I would say is one of the top restaurants at Disney. I do like the French dip over there. It's diner food. It's a little expensive, but I do enjoy it. But with that said, BoardWalk has got Flying Fish. That place is amazing. Trattoria, we've had some pretty decent meals at Trattoria. I'm so excited for the cake bake shop. There's going to be corn dogs right there. If you've never had a blue ribbon corn dog, or a pickle dog or a jalapeno popper thing, those are so good. And
wait, where's that going to be? Where's
it's
the dogs?
right on the boardwalk. The blue ribbon corn dogs. It's a stand, like a little kiosk stand.
Yeah, right across from Abracadabra.
Yep.
Yeah. And Paul and I went to Abracadabra. It was just a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
I didn't know they had snacks, and they were really good. We had this like little dip trio, and it had different kinds of dips and house-made chips. So that's a cool little place as well. And then you got the Boardwalk Pizza Window, you've got Carousel Coffee, you got a lot more options there. But yeah, I've always loved Boardwalk. I've always loved the lobby. And you know what else I noticed for the first time ever? Have you ever looked up high when you're standing in the lobby and it's like way up towards the ceiling on the walls? I don't know if it's above windows or where it's at, but they have like I don't know what I don't call it. It's like an artistic
mosaic?
No, it's not a mosaic. It's like an artistic picture, and they're in circles, and they have one of every castle from every park. Did you know that? From like the international parks. And so like it's like, and so like I was talking to the cast member, I was like, I didn't ever notice it before. She's like, can you figure out which ones are which? And I had a little bit of trouble because they were kind of far. I was like, is that okay? That might be Tokyo, and that might be, but I don't know. It was just really cool little things like that, you know.
And the circles like look like pieces that would go onto a carousel. Is that what?
Yes, that's exactly right. Yeah, but I just like there's so many little details that you just don't realize are there.
And the chairs that will eat you alive.
The nanny chairs and the Lucy the elephant. You know, it's modeled after the actual hotel Lucy the elephant, and they've got the coaster from. You know, the Coney Island. I don't know. There's just cool things there. So,
Derek, as much as I feel like we've talked about the pizza window a few times on this show since we did Summerfest. I feel like we need to give a disclaimer that place wrecked everybody in the group.
Okay, the pizza window is not great, but Jelly Rolls is great.
Jelly Rolls is great. And I also love that Amy was saying, a beach club I love beach club, I love everything except for really the rooms and the pool and I really like the lobby. I like the lobby.
I used to love Cape May Cafe before they took away the all-you-can-eat crab legs.
It is still, I think, on our list of like most eaten at Disney restaurants.
I used to make Paul go there all the time.
We went to that restaurant.
Yeah.
We even went when it turned into like table service for a brief period of time.
Oh, and we had the lobster.
And you had to do the upcharge lobster or
good.
upcharge crab legs, and somehow they convinced us to buy the upcharge lobster. So yeah. We've spent a lot of time basking in the smell of Cape May Cafe, Derek, and I know that you were begging that we film this show from there. So I assume that you're going to choose Beach Club based off of your shirt and everything else. So
yeah, and I obviously want to preface this like I've prefaced every one of these so-and-so versus so-and-so resorts that obviously it's a personal thing. So it's wherever you have the most memories of is going to be the winning resort. I've been a member of the Boardwalk since the late 90s. So this was my first Disney Vacation Club resort that I purchased. This was a resort that we would fly down before we had kids from outside Chicago. This was a resort that we would fly down with our kids when they were born, when they were babies. We would do those mandatory pictures on the big couch right when you enter the lobby area right over there to the right-hand side. So we have pictures of them when they were this big to when they're now, 19 and 20 years old. So it's all about where you have the memories. But for me, the Boardwalk is so magical. Just even pulling into it, from off of the road, and you kind of come around and you pass the guard stand and you go up the hill into the porte cochere, and then you walk in and you see that big circle couch and you see that chandelier that I know it has a name because Paul and I did a Disney trivia.
A hippocampus electroiler or something like that.
That's what it is. And then you look out back and
it's
you
like
walk
3
in.
tons or something.
Oh, it's crazy. It's crazy. But that view that you have from when you walk out those doors right off the lobby onto the great lawn, where there's a huge patio and there's rocking chairs that you can just sit and you
Yeah,
can
yeah.
stairwell down, and then there's the great lawn area, and then you can walk out back and see the pool, and you could, there used to be a Weiland gallery there. I think Weiland might still be there, but
It's
you just have the whole entire boardwalk is just right there. So you look over there and say, oh my God, this is amazing. Epcot's right over here. And then you could stroll over. You're within walking distance, of course, to the places at the beach club, and you've got the Swan and you've got the Dolphin. But for me, yeah, there's things that I'd fix about the boardwalk. I think that pool, the main pool, is due for a rehab, like real bad, because that, elephant is shooting that one little strand of water for like the last 25 years into that pee-ridden kiddie pool that's right there to the right. I think that pool could definitely use a great rehab. I think their quiet pool is amazing. I love their quiet pool. They have a great DVC clubhouse that's right there. I think it's one of the best ones that they have on property. I would love to see if they could just do something with Atlantic Dance versus having, 4 people with fanny packs dancing to the Salt and Pepper at 11 o'clock at night. I think it'd be great. If you could have some kind of a sports bar type of a waterfront restaurant, I think would be fantastic. Replace the brewery. The boardwalk needs better food. We all know the boardwalk needs better food options, and it ain't coming with a cake shopping. That's not going to be the answer to the boardwalk food problems. But I think if you add up all the negatives versus what the beach club had, which is what, Jeff was kind of talking about, where Amy's like, I love it, but I don't like the rooms, and I don't like this, and I don't like that. At the boardwalk, if you could fix the food options, I think the rooms are great. You could say what you want about the rehab, but there is nothing better than getting a boardwalk view room and sitting on the boardwalk at night with a beer or a glass of wine and just watching people stroll and seeing the entertainers out there, looking across Crescent Lake and seeing the yacht club and beach club lit up, or strolling to Epcot. So for me, it's an absolute slam dunk, because again, even the room choices at the beach club are like, okay, do I have a balcony? Like Jeff said, do I have one? Do I not have one? Even if you do, your view is people walking to Epcot. So that's what you've got to look at. Like, that's it, down a little walking path, where the boardwalk to me is just one of those quintessential, holy cow, I can't believe this is Disney resorts, that they do better than anybody else. That's my opinion. So my vote's for the beach club.
Paul, you have to go for beach club, otherwise we got nothing.
Yeah.
It does kind of shock me that no one. I will say Amy's kind of 50-50. But it does shock me that no one in this group really falls into the beach club camp. There are very passionate fans of the beach club, and a lot of it does relate to families and Stormalong Bay. But Jeff, to your point a little bit earlier, if that was the big feature of that resort, which it is, they should have either built the resort to be bigger, or they should have built that to be bigger. Like, imagine if you did have a Disney Vacation Club. I don't want to know the annual dues related to this, but imagine if you did have a Disney Vacation Club property that was of a full size and not smaller like Beach Club, and did have a full-fledged like water park at that specific resort. Like, that would be pretty cool. That's a destination in itself. Like, technically there are timeshares out there that is that.
Kidani is like a water park.
Yeah.
No, Kidani has a water slide and a splash pad. World Marriott down the street has a water park. Margaritaville has a water park. I to your point, Paul, I think I'm surprised actually that we don't have that yet, because
I will say this too.
Alani
Beach, Alani. Well,
Alani.
But the lazy river there. Stormalong Bay is cool. But when you're thinking about like the lazy river there, right over in the Good Neighbor hotels is it the Hilton Buena Vista Palace?
I think so.
Is that what it's called? So we stayed there one night with our friends Phil and Pauline and David, and it has a huge lazy river. It knocked beach clubs out of the water, like hands down. And you weren't going to drown in it if you let go of your floaty device. You know, it was very nice. So I feel like Stormalong Bay is nice and it's cool, but there's actually better, you know, pools and lazy rivers at local hotels around that, you know, Stormalong Bay could actually be better.
It's also very chaotic. Like you have to walk through the entire resort to get there, and it's always chaos. It's always very busy. I mean, this is why people at beach club or yacht club really stay there. And you're not just the Disney Vacation Club owners accessing that. You know, anyone that's staying cash at the beach club regular hotel rooms or at the yacht club hotel rooms.
Well, the lazy river is like every man for himself. Good luck finding a raft.
Oh, there's only like 10 or 20 rafts total. So,
and not to mention the security you have to go through to get into the place. Like you got a blood sample and wristband, and I don't know. I don't see it. And to Derek's point, you know, I think the boardwalk view is up there in the top 3 views at Disney, along with, you know, lake view at either the Poly or Grand Flow and Safari at Animal Kingdom. I don't think you can top those 3. And it was so strange because the one time I stayed at the beach club, we did it pre-cruise, and I spent most of the day at Stormalong Bay while Amy was up in the room working. And I kept watching the people going to Epcot in the morning, and they were all so excited. And here we go, and off we go. And I just kept walking, you know, because you have to cross them to go over to the water slide. And then I was still there at the end of the day, and the defeat of people leaving Epcot at like 1:30 in the afternoon. It didn't really fill me with all the Disney magic I was hoping, where the boardwalk definitely does that.
And I had asked my wife, Annie, and said, hey, we're doing the show, Boardwalk Birch Beach Club. I know which one you're going to pick, right? And she's like, well, yes, of course, the Boardwalk. And I just said, why? Because I know you like Stormalong Bay. You know, it's kind of a really cool pool. And Hurricane Hannah's is a great pool bar. So that's a great pool bar. It's a great little quick service place by the pool. And I said, so why would you pick it over the beach club? She goes, real simple. She's like, you can tell the beach club was an afterthought. So the Beach Club Villas were an afterthought. They didn't build the Beach Club Villas. When they built the Yacht and Beach, it was the Yacht and Beach. And then they're like, oh, we could use another resort here. Let's tack it on behind here around in the woods through Epcot. Whereas the boardwalk, it was built as, okay, here's the middle of it. On this side is all hotel rooms. Y'all, on this side, it's all DVC rooms. So from the very beginning, it was built with Disney Vacation Club in mind, versus the beach club is just your classic kind of, let's see where we can fit it and sell some points at it.
Yeah. And when you think of the boardwalk, you see the colorful DVC section in your head. Like that's the boardwalk to you. You know what I mean? Like the DVC is very prominent there. Yeah, I agree. I agree with Annie on that one as well. I think from a transportation and location standpoint, they're pretty even. Beach Club is a little bit closer to Epcot. Boardwalk's a little closer to Hollywood Studios. Point.
You both have. I mean, you both have Skyliner access. You both have boat transportation, bus transportation from the resorts. They're very when you focus on to anyone that's potentially debating these two for a potential home resort property that they want to purchase at. I think on all comparatives, they're very similar.
Yeah. So point cost are very similar in terms of points per night. The annual dues are close. Boardwalk's a little bit more, but Beach Club is a little more expensive, both direct and resale. I don't know, Derek, do you know like what on average?
Yeah, I'd have to check, but it's because I've had people tell me and say, hey, you know what? We love that area, but we're not partial to the beach club or the boardwalk. So which one should we buy? And I just tell them like, the reason you buy the beach club is if you love the beach club because it's small. It's way smaller than the boardwalk. So if you just want to be able to have more chances of getting into that Epcot resort area, then you want to buy the boardwalk just because it's simply a numbers game. It's just a bigger resort, whereas the beach club is incredibly small, which I think the Grand used to be the smallest Disney Vacation Club resort, but then they opened the tower. So I think it now falls to the beach club as the smallest Disney Vacation Club resort in Florida. So that's why you pay for it. You pay for it for Stormalong Bay, but it's simply, it's small. That's it.
Yeah. And I just to go back to kind of the point charts as well. So I compared basically this week or midsummer deluxe studio at both properties. So very comparable. These rooms are identical. Like if you walked in without theming to either property, these rooms are exactly the same. There's no difference between either one. If you do a 1-bedroom or 2-bedroom, you're going to play magic door bathroom game all night long. Because there's 4 doors to the same bathroom. So, but they were built very similar in style and in feel. The interesting thing when I did pull the point charts up though, for a deluxe studio, for this summer season, 92 points if you're staying in a BoardWalk standard view, and 116 points for a Beach Club standard view. And the Beach Club only does have standard view. There is no room or view type there. So the 116 points is equal to what you would see for the garden view or the garden pool view or the boardwalk view over at the boardwalk. And so when it comes to a view perspective, if we're talking apples to apples here, I would much rather be staring at the boardwalk or looking at, Spaceship Earth or watching the fireworks from the boardwalk versus potentially 9 times out of 10, you're staring into pine trees at the Beach Club.
Yeah. So on that same topic, Boardwalk has a lot more room options.
Yeah.
So you've got standard view, you've got pool garden view, you've got boardwalk view, and then you've got, deluxe studios, 1-2 bedrooms and 3-bedroom grand villas. Beach Club doesn't have any view designation. Like Paul said, they're all pretty much standard. You just get what you get. You might be looking at the pool, the small pool. You might be looking at the woods. There are like 2 or 3 rooms that can see the top of the land pavilion.
Yep.
But it's not that great of a view. We had it once and there was a big crane in the way and you could barely see some fireworks through the trees. But you don't have grand villas at Beach Club. You've only got studio, 1-bedroom, 2-bedroom, and there's no grand villa. So you have a lot more options on both view and room type at the boardwalk.
It's worth noting that both of these resorts have undergone recently some sort of refurbishment. So in 2023, Beach Club saw an entire soft goods refurbishment in which they also added Murphy beds, the pull-down Murphy beds to replace the couch beds in every single room there. So not a full hard goods, but a nice, I would call it like they did more than what I would consider soft goods. It just felt like they did a little bit more, or it just took so long that it felt that way because I felt like they were working on that.
It felt like
forever.
felt like not a full on hard goods, but it did feel.
It was it was definitely dubbed a soft goods refurbishment. Yeah. But Boardwalk has just completed its full hard goods refurbishment, so they are wrapping up the final rooms as of now this summer in 2024, and we've posted several different videos up on the DVC Fan YouTube channel of showing the newly refurbished rooms. Mixed bag of opinions, I think, on kind of what they look like. Any strong thoughts from any of you?
I think we set the expectations so low. People are now saying they like it.
Yeah.
So
You're welcome.
That's literally for me. I when I saw it in person, it was way better than what I had expected it to be. So
yeah, they look better in person.
I don't think it's a total mess like we thought.
Yeah. And to be fair, that first time that we went into a finished studio and kind of reviewed it and showed it around, they have actually added some throw pillows,
some pops of color.
Yeah, like some pops of color, some pillows on the couch, some a colorful pillow on the bed, and that actually helped a lot.
Yeah. And the 1-bedrooms and 2-bedrooms.
The one, yeah, and anything higher than a studio has a lot more color as well. So I like both. I do.
Yeah, it's definitely grown on us. I think with most hard good refurbishments, the bigger surprise is just the things that they choose not to replace or the things that they choose not to touch. Where it's like, this closet door, I swear, has been here since Boardwalk was born.
You could see 4 different paint colors on it.
Yeah.
Remember, I pointed it out in one of the videos. Like, oh, look, there's like 4 different colors of paint that you can.
So it's.
By the way,
funny.
Paul and Amy, your dog is perfectly centered to be a star.
That one.
Hermes.
No.
Herbie's.
He also has knocked the DVC fan pillow down at some point during this show or the last
Right.
show, but yeah, he's a good boy. He's claimed that couch as his own for
Aw,
sure.
And he got to this is a sidetrack. I'm sorry, I'm getting a sidetrack. He got to be reunited on Sunday night with the two people who rescued him in Spain and rehabilitated him for a year before he came to us. And this was their first time in Florida in over 20 years. And when he saw them, his entire like butt wagged, like he just like into their arms. It was really cute. So
That's
The
amazing.
fact that they remember that is amazing.
4
Yes.
years. 4 years later.
4 years later, we've had him 4
And
years.
it was equally special for them because, like they say, we send dogs to the U.S. or to other countries after we've rehabilitated them, and we know that they're going to amazing foster and adoption agencies and things like that, but we never get to see what become of them, and so to see them after the fact. So
That's
yeah,
awesome.
you fully
That's
derailed
cool.
us there on
Sorry.
an
I-
emotional bender.
I started that. I'm sorry.
But yeah, so both properties have seen some love in recent years. It's not like the Bay Lake Tower that still needs to see its refurbishment, which is coming. It's coming, but it's in rough shape.
And they both expire in 2042,
Both expire in 2042,
which is very sad
yeah.
because they
so-
are some of the best,
Yeah, and so this topic of Beach Club Boardwalk, I was going back in some of our archives and we've revisited it multiple times over the course of like DVC fan because it's always tends to be like this head-to-head matchup. So I didn't remember that it was this close when we originally did that article that Amy talked about. But the final results of that, actually, the Beach Club came out on top in that poll. So it was Beach Club versus Boardwalk.
Wow.
50.2% to 49.8%.
Oh my gosh.
So within any poll's margin of error, but that was the
That's
full
crazy.
result of that. This was back in 2019. One theme that was brought up multiple times is the availability factor for owning either of the resorts. And Derek, I think you mentioned this earlier. 530 units at the BoardWalk Villas, 282 units at the Beach Club Villas.
Hmm.
So practically impossible for anyone that's not a beach club owner to potentially get into Beach Club. So if you really love that property, if you really love Storm Long Bay, Beach Club is, potentially where you would want to buy. And technically speaking, you're getting more flexibility for your points at Beach Club because Boardwalk, on the flip side of that,
has more, especially in the pool garden view. That's a larger booking category.
0 to 7.
Yeah.
Like,
But I will say that if you really love either of those resorts during Epcot festivals, especially Food and Wine, then you probably are going to want to own there to guarantee your spot.
Yeah.
Now, that doesn't mean things don't pop up. We have stayed at Beach Club, like 5 times or
Yeah.
so? I mean, we've stayed multiple times and we don't own there. We've been a little more flexible to stay there, but it is possible. But if you are the kind of person that you want to secure that room that you want at 11 months, you want to be at Boardwalk or Beach Club, for something special, for a festival, then you definitely want to own at one of those two resorts.
Another thing in the same poll that kind of emerged in some of the comments was pool and entertainment options. So when you're choosing a side of the debate, and I think it would be interesting to maybe, bring someone on the show or have someone that maybe has kids and has a family. And maybe that's why they might be passionate about, Beach Club as compared to this, because it is definitely two different camps here when it comes to Boardwalk and Beach Club. People with children, families, they're picking Beach Club because of Storm Long Bay and because of those factors. While people that potentially, like Amy and I, don't have any children or just really are enjoying the nightlife of the area, you've got over at Boardwalk, you've got Jelly Rolls, Flying
Says the
Fish.
man who went to bed at 8 p.m. last night.
The man flu got me last night. What can I say? It got me good. But yeah, so that was back in 2019. Then we followed that back up a year later where we did basically, we called it DVC Fan Madness. It was paired with March Madness. So we did an entire bracket where we paired every single Disney Vacation Club resort against each other. We made the brackets come together.
We need to do that
eventually.
again.
We do.
That's fun. Let's do that again.
Mhm.
I think Jeff volunteered to do this actually,
Right.
if I remember
I think
correctly.
we got busy.
So we, of course, based off of prior rankings, put Beach Club and Boardwalk on two different sides. And lo and behold, it was the championship game was Boardwalk versus Beach Club. So when it came down to that poll and the final tallies, going back up to the results, it was 59.9% of the vote actually went to Beach Club that year. So
man.
the general population disagrees with absolutely all of us when it comes to
They
you know,
really
which
love
one.
that Cape May
Wait.
smell.
What's the latest poll? Have we done a recent one?
I don't think-
So the most recent poll, which is up on DVC
Today.
Fan right this
now.
minute, and I'm just doing one last refresh so that we can see 51% of the vote goes to Boardwalk and 49% of the vote goes to Beach Club at the present
That's
moment.
still pretty amazing to me.
Yeah,
It's always so close.
It
with
is
those two.
always so close. This is always such a passionate debate. Going through some of the comments real quick. Heather said, Beach Club hands down. The pool is phenomenal. The smell of the lobby, quick service dining options, indoor dining in general, ice cream window, better pool bar.
She's probably smelling that clover and aloe. That's the
Wait.
smell.
Why am I forgetting what the quick service is over there?
Beach Club Marketplace.
Yeah.
Because it's in
Wow.
the gift shop. That's why.
Yeah, it's in the gift shop.
Oh.
I don't know why anybody likes that place. That place is it's
So
like
can
hard to
you-
tell. It's just kind of there.
It's like a convenience store gas station food.
Yes.
Like really.
I do now recall it, and I loved something. They had a minestrone soup, but what I loved is they kept the pasta separate from the soup the way you should, and it was good.
Oh, I didn't know that was a thing that you had to do with minestrone.
That was the thing. Well, with any soup, they should keep the pasta separate so it's not mushats when you get it in your bowl.
We're going to have to go for soup class at Panda's house.
I will say that it's not Beach Club, but it's within the same building. I actually love Ale and Compass, even though it gets a bad rap. I think the food is really good. I think the pasta over there is really good. The bread, what's the Parker House rolls with
Parker
the
House
spreads and stuff.
Yep.
I love that place.
I actually had a really good meal there for breakfast at Ellen Compass. I actually forgot about that, but those blueberry pancakes were amazing.
Yeah, I've heard good things about their breakfast.
Going
I
through a
do-
couple. Go ahead, Derek.
I was just going to say, because someone kind of touched on like, nightlife, like what if you wanted to go out to grab a drink? Like for me, I mean, there's no comparison just because the Boardwalk, you have the awesome and I think very criminally underrated, just Bellevue Lounge, just being right off the lobby right there where you can sit on a patio, which is great. You have the Abracadabra bar. You guys can go down. If you want to go to, Atlantic Dance, you can. But there's so many other places. Whereas I feel like the Beach Club at night, you have the Cruise Cup Lounge, which is fantastic. So I love that place. But then you've got two places that I can never figure out. And hopefully someone can tell me that maybe more savvy than me, which is probably a lot. But there's that 1-2 punch of there's Ariel's, which always seems to be closed. And
Yeah,
then out
that's
of
not
nowhere- Right.
that's for like special events. They don't actually open that for anything anymore.
And then you have right next to it, which is quote unquote, I think it's Martha's Vineyard.
Martha's Vineyard, yeah.
Looks like I'm going to have a drink in like my grandma's living room. Like
It
that's
is,
just
yeah.
not appealing in the least. So
The
for me, I don't get it.
I will say about Martha's Vineyard, though, the thing it has going for it, it does have a nice small bites menu,
Yeah, it's very small
but
menu.
they're utilizing the same kitchen, I believe, that is Beaches and Cream. So
We've eaten
Um,
dinner at Martha's Vineyard twice.
yeah, if
just
you-
kind of like a last minute.
if you're trying to go for like a last minute walk up for Beaches and Cream and you can't get it, Martha's Vineyard could be a nice, maybe small
They got
alternative.
like wings and a burger and like 2 other things.
Derek, I'll be devil's advocate though to your point of Bellevue Lounge and also the new Carousel coffee shop at Boardwalk. I
don't
hate
like
that. I feel like Carousel coffee shop is open until like 3 or 4,
It's
and
like-
then
yeah,
they
it's like
close,
3.
and then those people go over and open Bellevue Lounge at 4 or 5. And it's like, but I would still like a coffee at like 7 or 8. Like I would like one of those things. And we're forgetting also for both of these resorts, you do have a hike if you are someone that enjoys the refillable mugs. You do not have many options at either resort for this, and typically do have to go out of the main building of your resort to go refill that mug. So if you're at Boardwalk, you're going to have to go down to the Boardwalk Deli, actually on the Boardwalk. If you're at Beach Club, you're going to have to go out and over to the Beach Club Marketplace. So both of those, a little bit of a hike. I imagine that if you probably ask Disney, like, who sells the most refillable mugs, it's not Boardwalk or Beach Club at the end of the day. Going through a couple other comments that were here. Mark said Beach Club doesn't have possessed nanny chairs. Boardwalk for the win.
Oh, yeah. One of them's even named Paul.
One is named Paul. Mandy said Boardwalk for the views and vibes. Also, the Pepper's Ghost at Abracadabar. Marcy, love the Beach Club, but Boardwalk has my heart. Darlene, love Boardwalk for the views, but Beach Club has the convenience to Epcot and restaurants. Megan said Beach Club, Stormalong Bay, and Beaches and Cream are the only 2 reasons I need. Stormalong Bay and Beaches and Cream, Jim said. And then Karen said, this is a tough one because they're almost equal. But I have to give it to Beach Club. Beach Club has the best pool on property with cabanas, quicker access to Epcot Skyliner, and you can still walk over to the Boardwalk and enjoy all of the drinks and dining. So I think what's ultimately the case is that if you asked 99.9% of anyone who you asked this question to, they would probably pick a side, because how can you not? But I think that you love both properties because you can easily access the amenities of both, and they share dining options.
Yeah, and the Crescent Lake area is just one of the best areas over there at Disney.
Yep, absolutely.
I do forget about the cabanas at the Beach Club. That is, they are awesome.
That's the first nice thing you've said about Beach Club all night, Jeff. That's pretty.
I gotta say one nice thing, or people come after their pitchforks.
Well, let us know in the comments of this video, what do you love? Beach Club, Boardwalk, why do you love it? And we will chat with you down there. As always, please hit that thumbs up button, like and subscribe to our DVC Fan YouTube channel, and follow along for additional content. Or if you want to be a part of kind of these mashup showdown polls, head to the DVC Fan Facebook group. That is where we put the poll. That's where we read off some of your comments and things like that, as I almost knocked my water glass over before we end the show tonight. But yeah, engage with us. We love chatting with you. If you want to see some fun behind the scenes content, head to patreon.com/DVCfan and support us there as well. But great time chatting with you all tonight, and we will see you as always next Monday.